Hey everybody, welcome into another edition of Make Every Second Count Live, the show where we help you guys through the things that you were going through in life, because I know personally and I know from what everybody else tells me that social media is more like a highlight reel and it only shows the good things. But I don't want it to be that way. So we go through the good, the bad, and the ugly here on this show. But I ask you if you would please share the episode out, invite all kinds of people to watch it, and don't forget to give us thumbs up, hearts, frowning faces, cry faces. Heck, you can even get mad at us. I don't care. Just help us trick the algorithm on Facebook. And don't forget to keep those comments going because I love seeing the comments. If you have any questions, go ahead and ask them. Tell us your biggest takeaway, and we would absolutely love that. But with no further ado, I would like to bring to the stage Sheri. Hi,
Hi,
Sheri. How
good
are
to
you
see
doing?
you.
It
Great.
is fantastic to be seen. I have to say that myself because it's amazing. But I would ask you if you would please go through a short introduction about yourself. Tell everybody who you are, where you're from, and what you do.
Okay. Hi, I am Sheri Berger. I live in the Kansas area, Kansas City area. So that's where I'm from. And I am the owner of Here to There Consulting. And we educate business owners with those tools to balance life, business, and finances to help you create the life and business that you love. If you could have that one person to believe in you, you could accomplish so much. So, anyway, that's what we do.
That is amazing. Now, I especially like your answer since you talked about one person, and I called tonight's episode The Power of Support. And that is going to come down to one person in a lot of circumstances. And I happen to know that hers came down to one person. So I find that pretty awesome. But like I was talking about before, that social media often shows the highlight reels of someone's life. And I like to show the good, the bad, and the ugly. And when I say that, you see, I had to go through a car wreck, a serious car wreck. I was 17 years old. I spent 3.5 months in the hospital, which 2.5 of those 3.5, I was actually in a coma. And they told me I wouldn't walk again, but I am here now. So I know that in order to go through things in life, we have to grow through things. So, Sheri, has there been anything that you have had to grow through?
Well, there's been many things, right? Because life is all about ups and downs. But I think you're talking about the story of when I moved out 2 days after I was 17. I ended up marrying a guy that was 6 years older than me. He was an abusive alcoholic. He pretty much owned me for 3 years. It was not a lot of fun. And I actually had no friends, Jeff. Can you believe that? The extrovert on steroid, that, as my husband says, I collect friends. I wasn't even allowed to have friends. Have you ever been in that of abusive relationship? Oh, it was not fun. And of
No,
course, I
I
ended up having a
haven't, but
baby in the middle of that. So I got married at 2 weeks after I was 18, because you can't live with somebody without being married. Come on. And then 5 months later, I got pregnant and I had a baby by the time I was 19. And I divorced by the time I was 20. And I left him 4 times before I left him for good. And he told me that I'd come back. And he convinced me always to come back because I felt like you made your bed, got to lie in it, right? And divorce is not a thing in my family. So, yeah, I put up with that for quite a while till I was 20 and decided to leave.
that's crazy. Now, I happen to know from reading a little bit that people in abusive relationships don't necessarily leave the first time. Why don't they just get up
You
and
keep
pick up and
habit. Did you
why
know it
don't
used
they
to be
just pick
seven?
up and leave though? I mean, I don't really understand that. Is
Well,
it all about control or what?
usually, has something to do with your childhood, right? If you came from abuse, then you tend to go to abuse, right? They call it if you go from the egg to the frying pan, right? So if you don't know better, you don't know better. So my friend Gerald used to always tell me, he just passed away 2.5 years ago. He was my second dad, and I lost him. It was a really, really hard loss for me. But he used to say to me towards the end of his life, who in the heck would have known you 30 years ago? Right? I am not the same person I was 30 years ago. So I weighed 105 pounds when I left my ex-husband. He had me that bad. I weighed 100 and I was 119 when we got married. I weighed 155 at full term. And by the time my son was 5 months old, I weighed 105 pounds. Yeah, I was skin
Wow.
and bones, had no friends, no whatever. I had no GED, no driver's license, and no money because he drank it all. So that makes it really hard to figure out what to do next. But if you can have that one person that believes in you. So Gerald Harris, I actually dedicated my book to Gerald Harris, but Gerald Harris was that one person when I was 18 years old, when I was pregnant and I was married to an abusive alcoholic. He believed in me. And when I wanted to leave, people told me I couldn't. What are you going to do? You can't. What are you going to do? And people would even tell me I wasn't that pretty, I wasn't that smart. What am I going to do? And so if you feel that way and that your husband tells you that you're lucky to be with him and all that crap, you believe these lies, right?
Yeah.
You believe those lies. So it's really hard. I've been in Al Anon and everything else, and I've been in lots of counseling. And I think being in counseling does not make you weak. It makes you strong. It helps you overcome things. And I've been
Yeah.
in EMDR, and I'm a big advocate of always becoming the best version of yourself, right? That's how we met, Jeff. So,
Yeah.
anyway, but I'm very big about that and always being a continuous learner. So, I left my ex husband, no GD, no driver's license, no money. He even ran up all the bills. So, trying to get an apartment and get your gas and your light and your back then we had phone bills, all that stuff. Oh my gosh, it was hard. And I got my GD, I got my driver's license. I worked 30 hours a week 30 hours, 30 hours a week at the hospital, serving people in the cafeteria. And then I went on to go to college. And I didn't think I could go to college because people tell me you're not smart enough. Go to continue ed. You can't do this. But I had the one person that said, do you want to or you don't? And I'd be like, don't you hear what everybody else is saying? Do you wanna or you don't? And I'd be like, oh my gosh. So I took my entry exam to go to JUCO and I had to take fundamentals of reading, fundamentals of math. I had to take learning strategy. I have a form of dyslexia. Really? Yeah, that's no more than anything. If you're in a wheelchair or you or whatever, it's not, everybody has a vice, I guess you can say, that could hold you back. But you know what? I went on and I went to JUCO and I took basic classes the first year. And I thought I was stupid. And I came home and I said, see, Gerald, when I took my entry exam, I said, look, I can't do it. You know what he said, Jeff? Do
Oh.
you wanna or you don't? And I'd be like, okay. And I got straight A's that year, that semester. I never seen those before in my life. My son got sick. I had an 18-month-old, 20 years old, and I had 20-year-old kids saying, my parents told me I either had to get a job or go to school. And I'm like, really? Because I've got a job, I'm going to school, and I'm raising a kid. And I didn't get child support. People talk about child support. I'm like, what is that? I didn't get no child support. I didn't have family support. I had to figure it all out. And that one person believing in you and saying, do you want to or you don't? Right. And then you just keep moving forward. So when I graduated from JUCO, our junior college here, oh my gosh, I couldn't believe it. Now it took me 3 years to get a 2 year, but I couldn't believe it. And then you know what Gerald did? I had grants, I had scholarships, I had whatever to go to school because I had to figure it out. And you had to keep your grades up, and I had to apply for all this stuff. And I just had to figure it out. And my son and I were on welfare, and we couldn't make it. And all I wanted to do was get on the other side to be able to provide for my son. So I had to do all these obstacles. So Gerald paid for half of my tuition at Park University.
Wow.
And I told him, no, you cannot do that. I decided I couldn't rely on anybody, only me. And by the way, God has humbled me and telling me that God uses other people to help you. And that I was being arrogant with that. But as a 20-year-old, I was like, people didn't take care of me. I can take care of myself. I'm going to figure it out. And you know what he said? He said, well, I just did. And now you have to graduate from Park University. So I graduated back in 1996 with a computer-based information systems and a business degree. And I was the first college graduate of my whole family. Yeah, I'm the dumb one,
Congratulations.
right? So it was a big accomplishment. It was a lot of obstacles to get through. And along the way, I met the love of my life. I married my best friend and had 3 more kids and stuff like that. I have 4 kids now. And my oldest turned out okay. Do you know what he does? Do you know what my oldest does? He's a pastor, and he's married to a pastor. So he turned out okay amongst all the craziness, right?
Yeah.
And I left my ex-husband because I knew what it was like to have somebody get hit in front. Like when he'd hit me, and he didn't really hit me. He would go within inches of my head and put a hole in the wall to make me behave. He would throw me on the bed to make me behave, but he never hit me. Come on, Jeff. Yeah. And he had to be drunk to do this, right? Yeah. So I justified it. But when he did that kind of stuff in front of my son, I could not have my son grow up that way because I knew what it was like, and I didn't want that for him. So that was my motivation. I swear I'm alive today because I would have killed myself. But I believe in God, and I was scared of me deciding, right? I mean, he had me that depressed and that bad. And I didn't want him to end up raising my kid. And so I did all that for my child. And over time, I started doing it for myself. But that kid, I swear, he saved me. And I named him Matthew, which means gift from God. And since he was 2, he said he wanted to be a pastor. And guess what? That's what he does today. So God has a calling on people's life, right? And that's another reason I do what I do, is because what is your calling? And are you living your life in your business on purpose? Because we only get one life. You know that, Jeff.
Yeah.
4.5 years ago, I almost died when my whole colon was shutting down. That was another obstacle, a whole different story. But God gave me a second chance. I should be on a bag. All these things should have happened to me. And look at me, I'm here. So I'm like, okay, you don't know. Would you say make every second count? That's why I love your show. Make every second count. And God has a mission and a vision and a purpose for you, which is what I write about in, chapter 2 of my book. And you were talking about those people in your life. That's chapter 4 of my book. It's so important to surround you around the right people. And if you don't believe in yourself, find somebody that believes in you until you can learn to believe in yourself. Because that's what I had to do, right? I had to learn to believe in myself over time.
Yeah, that's awesome. Now, one thing that I have noticed about people and doing this show for as long as I have is that people rely a lot on other people to help them out. Oftentimes when they are in that time of need. So, what if your family isn't supportive? What if the people around you aren't supportive? How do you find the right people to help you get to where you need to get?
That's exactly what I write about in chapter 4. Gerald taught me to always have mentors, always have coaches, and I have really good friends. But you know what Gerald would say to me, and it's true. To have a friend, you need to be a friend. So if you want great friends, go figure out how to be a great friend. And then you'll have more and more people.
That is what Terrence calls a tweetable. And that means a snippet that's a great quote for people to put in the comments. And remember, so in order to have a good friend, first you have to be a good friend.
And
That
I
is
love, you know what is so much more fun than receiving is giving. And so I like it when I'm on the giving side. But through 9/11, I lost my brother in the Pentagon 9/11. We got ripped off on a house. I was in a really bad scenario. And again, Sheri has it figured out. But God literally threw me on my face, made me pray. I couldn't even get a gallon of milk for my kids. And God told me that I need to humble myself, Jeff. And I was like, what do you mean humble myself? I don't want to rely on other people. I got it figured out. And he's like, how do you feel when you help others? Well, I like that. That's what I want to be. By the way, Jeff, I argue with God a lot. He
mm,
always wins. I don't get it. But I argued with him that day, and he said, well, then you're being selfish because you're not letting other people get the feeling of helping others. So, yeah, we are designed in that way, right? A ripple effect of helping people. And if you're a great friend, you'll always have a great friend. But if you're not, that might be what you need to work on. I know I'm an extrovert on steroids, so it's easy for me to have friends. But don't worry, my ex husband didn't let me have friends. Can you believe that? I literally was sitting in the back of the class and didn't want to be messed with when I was at the junior college because my self esteem, everything had been stripped by that one person, right? Or no, probably my first 20 years of my life, right? But until you start getting that momentum, but people that friend you or help you or support you, those are the best friends to have. But you
yeah,
need to reciprocate as well.
that makes a lot of sense. So I thank you for that. But it's like I'm still baffled by the fact that some people can't find that support, can't find the people that are willing to help, or they've used a couple people too many times for support, and they haven't really given support, and that person kind of says no, no more. So how can where do you suggest someone go to get support if they're struggling to find it in their own life?
Do you know the first place I went when I was 20 and I left my abusive alcoholic husband was to church. And then I started going to Bible studies. Those are great places to get support. And you know what? You should go to the church that you feel comfortable at, right? You should go visit different churches. But that's, to me, my Christian friends are the best friends, right? But then you and I belong to a group called Becoming the Best Version of, what is it? Becoming the Best Version.
Becoming the best you.
Yeah, becoming the best you. We both are speakers there, but there's great people in that room. I belong to Toastmasters International. That's a great place for support. So if you go out and visit and find people that think like you, that believe in you, that support you, whatever that environment is. Like I said, though, I'm an extrovert, so I know introverts have a little bit of harder time with that. But also go hire a coach or a mentor. Do you know I have a coach, Jeff? And I'm a coach. I have mentors and I have great people in my life. But we also need to maybe worry about those toxic people, Jeff. Some of them you can remove from your life, but some of them maybe you just need to limit the time. Like the people that don't believe in you tell you you can't. Go be around
Yeah,
the people that said, do you want to or you don't? Right? Be around them because they're going to pull you further. And that's why I do what I do today. I help people create the life and business that they love because it's so important. Because, Jeff, you and I know life is short, right? We've lost a lot of people, but I almost died 4.5 years ago. You almost died in a car wreck. Life is just too short to
yeah.
not be around those people that support you. So, what are your values? What are your goals? What are your objectives? Go be around those people. That's just what I would suggest. And if you could find one person, Jeff, then you can, from there, it can become a ripple effect of finding more and more people that believe and support you.
Yeah, and that is so true. Get it feels absolutely amazing to be around people that have the same idea as you, see the same possibilities as you, see the benefits of being around other people that are the same as you, and a group that has helped me do that is becoming the best you.
Are you going
And
to be here in Kansas in August, Jeff?
yes, I am. And
Jeff and I are speakers in August. In the end of August, we have a great conference that you should come to. Isn't it the last weekend? It's like August 25th and 26th.
I think so.
Yeah,
But
you guys should come and join us. Yeah, it'll be
I
25th to 26th. Come that weekend to Kansas City, where I live. Sorry, Jeff,
yeah,
but I got excited.
I put it up there on the screen. You can get your tickets at comechangeyourlife.com. And again, that is called Becoming the Best You. And it's all about overcoming challenges. So I know personally, and Sherry knows, that each and every one of you can overcome any challenge you face. It might not be easy, but luckily, as people, as human beings, we can do hard. We're not made for just the simple work. We're made so we can do the hard work. We're made that we can get calluses on our hands to protect ourselves so the work isn't as hard, but it's still hard work. And you're going to have to take the first step on your own because I can't do it. Sherry can't do it for you. You have to take that first step. You have
But
to
we can
find the
support them,
circle.
Jeff.
You
We will
have
both
to
support them.
find the circle of people that are going to help you, are going to lift you, are going to give you a hand when you fall down. And it all starts by getting a coach, just like Sherry said. And that sounds very, I guess, cliche to a lot of people. They are going to point their nose up at that and they're going to be like, ew, what a coach. I don't need a coach. But I actually have myself a coach too.
Mm-hmm.
Sherry has herself a coach. I know like everybody in my world now has a coach
Mm-hmm.
and they help us. They push us. They give us a hand when we need a hand. And that's what coaches are for. So get yourself a coach, guys. So Sherry, I have to ask. You talked a little about your book there. What is your book called? What what does it cover and how can people get a hold of your book if they want to read about your genius?
The name of my book is this is actually a copy, as you can see, but the name of my book is Here to There Revealed, and it's a system for balancing your life and your business. So it's a great way, I call it a coach in a box, right? So it's a great way to start putting your puzzle pieces of your life together. Everything starts with mindset. Did you know that? Everything
Yeah.
starts with mindset. So, mindset's chapter one. Chapter two is on your vision, your purpose, and your mission, not just for your life, but for your, I mean, not just for your business, but for your life to make sure they're aligned. And chapter three is about setting goals in 6 areas of your life that are really important. Chapter four is about those people you need in your life. And then chapter five is about your pre spending plan. And then what is your most valuable resource, Jeff?
Time.
Time. Chapter 6 is all about time and how valuable it is and how we need to be using it to utilize it well. You know what? Jeff and I would love it if you guys would come to the conference because we both would like to see you there. And I'm excited to go because I get a hug from Jeff when we go because I haven't seen Jeff since February. So it'll
Yeah,
be fun. We all get to reunite. We get together as speakers. But more importantly, if you're in the room, oh my gosh, how many takeaways do you get from other speakers in the room, Jeff? Oh my gosh, it's
hundreds.
phenomenal. Yeah, bring your notebook and be prepared to write and come and definitely sign up for that. I mean, and if you can, that'd be great because it'd be a great way to meet everybody. So I just want to, and it's in my hometown this time, Jeff. It's in Kansas. So there you go. So come on over to Kansas. And no, we don't just have wheat fields. By the way, I'm not even a Kansas girl. I'm an Alaskan girl. I grew up in Alaska. I was born and raised in Alaska by two East Coast parents. That's
Wow.
what's wrong with me. People are like, "You're East Coast." And I'm like, I'm an Alaskan girl that was raised by East Coast parents. But now I'm transplanted in Kansas. So there's
That
a little bit about me that you didn't know that, Jeff?
no.
Wow. You learned a lot about me tonight.
Yeah,
So there you go.
that's pretty awesome. But if you guys want to come to the conference, right there's where you can get tickets. There's the BTBY website at www.comechangeyourlife.com. And it would be amazing to see all you guys.
Yeah.
So I have to tell you, Sheri, and everybody else out there that you have to do me a favor this week, next week, and for the rest of your life. You have to make every second count. Why? Because you never know when the seconds are going to run out on your one life. Guys, remember, we're here every Tuesday, 7 p.m. Eastern Time, on the show where we try to help you through the things that you are dealing with in life. But until next time, I hope you have a fantastic evening, and I'll see you later. Thank you so much, Sheri.
Thank you for having me on. Bye, guys.